Hey guys, my name is Em and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a reading vlog where we see how much I realistically read in a week. I'm really excited for this vlog. I've seen a few of them going around recently and it's pretty similar to a weekly reading vlog, except it's like seeing how much you realistically read in a week and like bringing you with me as I read for a week, which I'm so excited to do because I am really trying to like reincorporate reading back into my daily routine. I want to read a lot this week. I also kind of want to catch up on my Goodreads goal. I think I'm like 6 books behind on my Goodreads goal. I don't know if it's possible to read 6 books in a week. I've not even read 6 books in a month in a very long time, so I'm interested to see how much I realistically read in a week as a booktuber. So yeah, let's just get straight into the reading vlog. I actually started reading for this vlog yesterday, which was Saturday, because I always tend to read a lot on Saturdays, so I decided to start reading for this vlog yesterday, but I just never opened the vlog yesterday. So I will give you my reading update for yesterday because I've already finished a book. So yeah, welcome to the vlog. Today is Sunday. It is very early in the morning. I was going to sit outside this morning and read, but it has been raining all morning, so maybe if it stops raining for a while I will sit outside and read, but for right now I think I'm gonna go snuggle up on my sofa and make a hot coffee and get into reading. The book that I'm gonna start with today is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walter. This book's been on my TBR for a while. Like, it was on my TBR last year, it's on my TBR this year, and I'm really excited to read it. It's a YA summer romance book and I'm so excited to read it. It's set on Martha's Vineyard, so it's definitely going to give me those summery beach house vibes, and I'm very excited to get into this. I don't think it's going to take me that long to read because it is YA, and also the font is like very big, and I do tend to fly through these beachy summer house romances. So yeah, this is the book that I'm going to be moving on to today. Welcome to the vlog. I'm now going to give you my reading update for yesterday and tell you the book that I've already finished. Okay, so reading update for what I read yesterday, because I've already finished a book for this vlog. So yesterday I finished The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I was reading this on my Kindle for the past like honestly couple of weeks, but I was kind of like coming and going at it, and I just loved it so much. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Ryan Shea is like the ultimate book boyfriend. Like, I have never read a book where the love interest was like such a green flag, honestly. Like, I've never loved a male main character as much as I have loved Ryan Shea. It's the silent ways that he loves her, it's the things that he did even when they were like fake dating and not even together, it's the way that he acts around everybody, it's the way he's protective of his sister. Obviously he's very gorgeous and he's a basketball player and all of that good stuff. Just the small thoughtful things that he has done for Indy throughout this entire book just made my heart so happy. He's a basketball player, so he used to get up very early to go to practice, and when he was making himself his coffee, he used to put a cup of coffee in the fridge for her so that when she woke up she would have cold coffee and it wouldn't have to be watered down with ice. Like, that's just so thoughtful, that's so loving, that's so sweet. Her dad is deaf and he wanted to be able to communicate with her dad, so he secretly learned sign language so that he could communicate with her dad. Again, that just made me cry. Like, I truly don't think I've ever read a more thoughtful, loving book boyfriend ever. Hence why this book got a 5 stars. If I could make one complaint about this book, is the length of it. It was quite long. It was like 417 pages I think it was, and it's not that that's like an exceptionally long book or anything, and I know this is gonna sound awful, but for me it was like too happy in the end. Like, they got together at like the 70% mark and then it was just kind of like happy and sappy from then on, and like that's just not my vibe. Like, for me it's like the tension before they get together. Yes, obviously I like seeing them together, but do I want to read like 30% of a book where they're a couple? Like, not really. Like, I kind of lose interest a little bit, but that was not enough for me to even dock it half a star because it was so good and I did really like reading it. But yeah, that is all I'm gonna say about this book because I don't want to spoil anything because I did not know anything going in and I just loved it so much. Like, I think any trope that you want is gonna be in this book. So that is already the first book that I finished during this vlog. I was already halfway through this book when I started yesterday. I was on page 185. So yesterday I read 232 pages. Reading over 200 pages in a day is definitely an achievement, and yeah, I just could not recommend this book more. I'm definitely gonna go on like a deep dive of like TikTok aesthetics and Pinterest boards and Spotify playlists about this book, but yeah, I'm gonna go right now and I'm going to start The Summer of Broken Rules. It's time to give you a reading update from the past 2 days. So I've not been reading as much as I thought that I would, or as much as I wanted to, and I think that's mainly down to the fact that I cannot pick a book that I want to read, so I end up reading nothing. But I do want to pick a book and get back into reading today. So on Sunday I did start The Summer of Broken Rules and I read 32 pages of it, so literally the first 2 chapters. It is good, I am intrigued, I do want to finish it, but the weather is just not matching up with this book. It's been raining non-stop, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon and it's like dark outside. It's just not matching up with like a Martha's Vineyard summer romance. And then yesterday, which was Monday, I had quite a busy day, so I wasn't actually home for a lot of the day. But last night before bed I picked up my Kindle just to like see if there was any books on there that I wanted to start or get into. I did end up starting The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I think I read like literally the prologue, so like maybe like 10 pages, I don't know. And I don't know if I want to continue with that book right now. I might pick something different. I really do not know. Like I don't know what I want to read. As I said, it is now 2:30 in the afternoon. I spent the entire morning in town. I was literally applying for jobs and going for a job interview and all of those fun things. But I'm back home right now. I'm about to go take a shower, and then I think my plan for the day is to like organize my room a bit and clear out some clothes and things like that. Maybe I'll start an audiobook as I do those things, or maybe I'll find a book that I want to read and we'll see. I'm kind of in a fantasy reading mood, so I might pick a fantasy. I will get back to you when I do pick a book I do want to read. Okay, it is now literally over a week later and I didn't film anything for the second half of the week, but I did actually read for the second half of the week, so I'm going to fill you in on what I read and why I didn't continue filming for the rest of the week. So basically the reason that I didn't vlog for the second half of the week is because I literally perforated my eardrum. I really did that. Like I literally went swimming and got such a bad ear infection that my eardrum literally went pop. And honestly, like that takes a bit of talent to damage your ears so badly after doing something so mundane. So yeah, honestly kudos to me for doing that. So I was kind of not feeling the best for the rest of the week, and also I couldn't hear anything, and it was just like really like discombobulating to like talk and vlog when I couldn't hear what I was saying. I still can't hear out of my left ear very well at all, but it is kind of like getting better and I'm kind of just a bit more used to it now because it's literally been like that for like a week and a half. So basically yeah, that's why I didn't end up filming anything for the rest of the week. However, I did still continue to read and I did keep note of the pages that I read each day so that I could fill you in on still what I realistically read in a week. So I can't remember what day it was that I gave you the last update, but I will give you like the full wrap up of the pages and books that I read during the week in a minute. But I know that I did not tell you about a book that I started and finished and has now become one of my favorite books of all time, and that book is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I read this book in a couple of days and I loved it. It's honestly like right up there with like Fourth Wing and Boys of Tommen series and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I'm really disappointed that I actually didn't vlog my experience of reading it because I would have loved to have that footage to look back on of me reading this book for the first time. However, I did read it, I loved it, and I'm gonna give you my full review and my thoughts on it right now. Needless to say, I did give this book a 5 stars. I think that it just exceeded all of my expectations. Like I had high expectations for it simply because anytime that I mentioned it in a video beforehand, I had a couple of people saying that they loved it and it was one of their favorite books. Specifically Jan from Jan Agaton, she really hyped this book up for me and she honestly was the one that made me eventually like bite the bullet and pick it up. But also I had seen so many people saying that if you read and loved Fourth Wing that you should pick this book up. Not that they're similar, but they're similar in the terms of like how good they are. It was just so good. It was just incredible. This is kind of like a historical fantasy. The timeline and the kind of events in this book are kind of similar to World War II, I think, but it's probably more during the time of like World War I, but also it's like in a fictionalized fantasy world where it's like a war against the gods that they're kind of fighting up against. So basically the plot of this book is that our two main characters are journalists and they work in the same place and they're competing for the same roles, so they're constantly like trying to outdo each other to win this title. So like they really don't like each other, but obviously you know, they do like each other, but like they don't like each other, if you get what I mean. Like they're rivals. And Iris's brother has gone away to fight in the war and she hasn't heard from him, so she starts writing him letters on her grandmother's old typewriter and putting them under her wardrobe door, and then they keep disappearing. So she thinks like it's magically getting to her brother and everything like that, but what she doesn't know is that they're not getting to her brother, they're actually getting to her rival. And then one day he writes her back and they start like this correspondence through like the wardrobe door. I love the letter writing element, I really loved it, and the fact that like she's kind of falling in love with the person that she's writing to and then being really irritated by her rival at work, even though they are the same person. And other things happen in the book, and I think for this one there is such a good plot and there is such a good romance. Like sometimes when you read a fantasy romance, one of those elements is lacking. With this one they were both equally as good. Like if you took out the plot of this book, it would be an amazing romance book, but equally if you took out the romance in this book, it would be an amazing plot of a book. So I think that it was just perfect in every single way. And also like it's not very long at all. I think it's like 350 something pages, and I read it in like literally the space of like a couple of days, and I just absolutely loved it so much. Like I can't even describe how much I loved this book. Roman Kit is just the standard. Like he is literally the standard. I don't even want to like say some of the things that he did that was so sweet, because I feel like when you're reading them for yourself it's more fun to kind of like discover those small thoughtful things that he does for her. But just know that like there's a lot of really sweet moments in this book. And yeah, I just could not recommend this book enough. Like I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was incredible and I'm so glad that I read it. I would definitely say that if you've read Fourth Wing and you're kind of like unsure about what fantasy book to pick up next, I would recommend this one. They're not similar in like plot wise or setting wise or anything, but they do have certain similarities, and I think it could be just like to do with how much I love them and how good they are. But yeah, I would just highly recommend this book. I think that everybody should go pick it up. That is all I'm going to say about this book, because honestly I could talk about it forever. And also the sequel comes out in December, so we don't have that long to wait for the sequel as well, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, I read this one and I gave it a 5 stars, and I would highly recommend. So let me give you a final wrap up of all of the books that I read this week and also the total number of pages that I read this week. I started out on Saturday by reading The Right Move and I finished that book. I read 232 pages and that was a 5 out of 5 star as well. Then on Sunday I read 32 pages and I started The Summer of Broken Rules. I'm really liking this book. I can't wait to continue it and finish it out, but the weather was so dreary and dull that it just wasn't giving summer beach romance, so that's the only reason that I kind of like paused that book. Then on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday I actually read 0 pages. I didn't really know which book I wanted to pick up, so I ended up reading nothing. And also I was doing a couple of things those days as well, so I just didn't end up reading anything those days. But then on Thursday I started Divine Rivals and I read 100 pages of that book. On Friday I read 36 pages of Divine Rivals. On Saturday I read 158 pages of Divine Rivals, and then on Sunday I read 59 pages of Divine Rivals and finished that book. So in total I finished 2 books. I finished The Right Move and Divine Rivals, both of which were 5 out of 5 stars, and then I read 617 pages in total as well. So overall I would say that it was a really good reading week. Like I definitely have been reading for quality over quantity lately, and I would much rather read 2 books that were 5 stars than reading 10 books that were like 2 or 3 stars. I was really happy with the amount that I read this week, and I really loved doing this video as well. I think that it was so fun to kind of like show you exactly what I read each day, and it was really fun to show like a realistic reading week in my life as well, because realistically you don't read every single day, you don't read all the time consistently, and I really enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you did enjoy this type of video as well. I would really love to do another one very soon. I really enjoyed it and it also kind of motivated me to read as well. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this type of video, and also let me know what you read this week, if you've read any of the books that I talked about, what you thought of them, what you've been reading lately. I love to chat in the comments. If you watched to the end, comment some like old-fashioned emojis, kind of like dark academia emojis, because I'm still very much so obsessed with Divine Rivals and the typewriter element. But yeah, that is it for this video guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Stay amazing, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!